Scattering is a part of almost every environment workflow. This tool makes it faster, procedural, and easy to control. Let physics take the controls of objects fall, collide, and settle with realism. Effortless vegetation motions all inside Houdini in Solaris with a single node. Hey, this is Sarnath, an environment generalist proficient with texturing, fluid development, environments, lighting, and bit of effects. For a while, I've been into the development of this tool just for my personal use only, according to my day-to-day requirements and built accordingly. So if you guys require any other requirements, any suggestions, just comment below. As of now, these are the three main key features. Let's dive into Houdini in stage context. I'm importing my very first node, scatter me. It has 4 tabs. We will see one by one. In surface tab, we can import or load our terrain in a multiple way. I'm choosing procedural terrain. Right away, it gives us a very generic, very basic terrain. Mostly this kind of surface work for background or midground things. So we can adjust the scale and a lot more things. So there's a grid spacing, nothing but the subdivision. When you go lower, you'll be getting more subdivisions, and there are basic noise. We can go around and check it. We can control its amplitude, scale, roughness, everything. Even we can control its base. We can extrude it instead of having just a plane. We can add erosions as well. So this is just a basic erosion, or in most cases for the background and midground thing. So when you get lower grid spacing, you will be getting higher erosion quality. Now we will move on to scatter me section. So quickly, I'm just loading my external terrain surface which I created in Gaia. So in scatter me section, as soon as we enable it, we can able to see multiple options. In geometry, we can enable our scattering geometries. So I'm just going to choose 5 number of geometries to scatter on the selected surface. So this is just a library that I built for this demo purpose. So I just created 5 number of trees in speed tree and just some downloaded bushes and grasses and procedurally created debris. So I'm just quickly going to load them in this, but we don't see anything because we need to choose at least a type of scatter mode to scatter on, but still we don't see it because we just need to do a simple thing, which is a refresh. Yes, we got our scatters with a nice randomization in scale, rotation, everything, but only one thing is missing, which is we have added 5 geometries, but only one type of geometry is visible. So which means the existing scatter points got occupied by only one geometry. So our distribution is 0. So we need to distribute according to our mesh counts. So if I have 5 distributions, start at 0 and keep adding it, now we can see how it is drastically changing. All other 5 geometries are occupying the existing points equally. Still we can control its weightage. Let's say we have this 5 type, right? So let's say this is tree 5. I want to keep only this tree 5 in my scattered points. So if we make all other weight as 0, only our tree 5 will remain in the surface. So we can tweak it. As soon as we control the weight of a particular geometry, that will accommodate its place in the scattered points. So we can control the distribution of our given geometries. So now we will see the scatter modes and its control. We have selected scatter by noise, but we don't know what type of noise is applied. So we can visualize it. It will dive into the geometry network. So we can pin this viewport and we can come outside of the geometry network, and we can visualize the noise, and we set the noise according to the noise pattern, or scatter will follow accordingly. So I'm just randomly making a big pattern of noise. Yeah, I think that's fine. See how nicely it got scattered based on the noise pattern. Yeah, we can choose multiple noise patterns, we can go around. So now I'm going to scatter by paint. Once we click on this paint, this will dive into the geometry network again. Since this is a very high resolution terrain, I'm just simply painting 2 strokes. And again our scatter got followed by our paint strokes. Nice, isn't it? We can still add our noise on top of that. Both noise and paint works together. So this is scatter by texture, this is scatter around or away. This I will come back later. This scatter by texture is nothing but very similar to the noise pattern, but we can feed our input as a texture. So there is scatter controls underneath. You can control its density. By default it is set to 100. We can control its seed and everything. So there is a relaxation point. We can control how far or close each point should be. So this will avoid the collisions at least level. And we have very basic controls like scale and rotation. You can just go through it. This is very pretty basic things. So we can control the rotation by normals. Also we can control the normal if you want to use by normal or not. Also we can control the minimum and maximum angle. By default it will come with the maximum randomization. That's why as soon as we enable the scatter, we got to see more randomization. Now we will see the secondary scatter using our existing scatter points. So this will allow us to choose scatter around or away. If we choose around, right away you see something got scattered around our existing scattered trees. I have already added my geometry, that's why you can able to see this. You can, if you want to, you can add any other geometries. That's nothing new, just straightforward thing. So here the main thing is we can control its distance and the blending things. So basically you can control the distance between the scattered tree. So you can control the blendingness also. So let's say how nicely it is getting adjusted, and rest of the scale, randomization, rotation, everything will be same. We can even break further using a noise. You can visualize it. So this way we can break that circular pattern even more nicer way. So if we choose scatter away, everything will be scattered. Our scatters will be scattered away from the existing scatter points. If you increase the distance, it will cover entire surface except the existing scatter geometry, and that's it for all. So now we will see physics-based scattering system. I have nicely imported a mountain which I created in Gaia. So we are not using any scattering section. Now we are right away using the simulation. If we enable this, we get to see multiple ways to simulate. Now we are choosing physics based. So here we can add our scattering geometry as usual. Then we have collision geometry controls, where we can add our additional colliders, can control its type and its shape. Also we can tweak its polygons. So let's say this collision surface width. How this works, we doesn't need entire area to be collided. Only wherever we are choosing the debris we falling down, that area only we need to be collided. So how this works, I will show you when we do further painting things, for the scattering things. So now we move on to scatter section. If we do paint, we can paint wherever our debris to fall, to debris to drop. Let's say I'm just choosing this area to drop my debris. So at this point, I have chosen this place to create my scatters. See, I'm just doing some generic things to make it more uneven and natural. So now we can set the height at how far is going to be dropped, at what height is going to be dropped. So we can increase it accordingly. So now let's see this collider. So whatever we have painted there, now that will act as a collider instead of the entire surface. So if we increase this mountain there, so if we increase this surface width, since for this case we require this complete mountain to be collided, so I'm just increasing the width, and let me do a flip book. And yes, it got, but I feel this is bit very slow. This looks little slow. I'm just tweaking it, and also I made the scatters to fall on bottom of the mountain to make it real good, to make it real quick. So what we have done, nothing fancy. We just added our scattering geometry we just painted on the particular area, then just tweak the collider, that's it. Then our physical based simulation got happening. Still we can control, we haven't controlled anything, but still it is falling right into the place. Still we can control the physics, the mass, rotational stiffness, everything. Even you can animate it. Let's say if you're dropping at a particular point, if it is accumulated at particular area, what you can do is just simply animate the friction, just set the friction at the initial state, the lesser values, so it all get to slide, and after that particular point you can just tweak it to higher values, so it will get friction to that surface. So once you are happy with a particular frame, then you can just simply come to the sketch part, the save to disk, then load from disk. Now we will see animated vegetation system. I have just simply added a grid using use stage input. So this is just a simple grid. I just connected in my first input of my node. So in the simulation section, enable it, you can see simulated vegetation scattering. Choose type grass, so we can add our geometries, and all other things are pretty common as we saw earlier. So we can add our geometries. So I'm going to add this geometry. By default this doesn't have any animations, so you can see this. So I'm just quickly loading that and some other grasses. So these are pretty common things. So underneath we have simulation controls. Let's say before playing I'm just setting the wind speed to 0. If I play, you don't see anything since I just turn the speed to 0. As soon as I revoke the wind speed, now you can see our grasses are animating. How nice it is, isn't it? To show in a better view, I'm just zoomed in a bit. See how nicely it is simulating. For the better explanation, I open this single grass. Now you can see how these controls are affecting this grass. See how this wind direction is working according to this axis. So the wind speed is nothing but the speed of wind. So when you go lower, you might feel like an underwater simulation. So this is bending strength. So you can control how much the bend you wanted. And we have flutter strength. So this is basically how jittery your grass supposed to be. See, now you can feel the breeze, right? If you don't have this flutter, this feels like just a wavy kind of thing, which is a obvious thing for this ocean kind of things, underwater grasses, bushes, something, underwater foliages. The speed this is will define how how much speed that flutter should happen. So now let's see this global variation strength. So by default, at whatever the values we have given, now this simulation will happen at that constant speed. But as soon as we give values to this global variation strength and speed, this will randomly vary every values. See how much bend it is occurring. Now it is got shuttle. How the fluttering is happening. See, now it is fluttering with the bendingness. So altogether it will give you the nice variation. So the sudden breeze and a shuttle breeze, something like that. So we have this speed. How fast that variation should occur, should happen. So if you go lesser value, at least count that variation will occur. So neutral value will work better for this. So that's it. So the most important part is the optimization. So in the utility tab, we have visibility mode of whatever we scattered. Let's say by default it is in render mode. So whatever we see in render, that we will be seeing in the viewport as well. So that is basically the render visibility mode. So we have bounding box, that you guys might already know about that bounding box. Some memory will be stored even under this bounding box. You don't see anything in the viewport, but just a bound, but still in the render you can see. But in the none visibility mode, none, you don't see anything, but you can get everything in the render mode. So this will save you in many ways. See, you are getting everything in the render, but you don't get anything in the viewport. This will save you a lot of memories. Yes. Then we have camera culling. So we can choose our camera. This will be culled. Our scatter geometries will be culled based on our camera first run. See, so we can control its z depth and we can control everything. Let's say the z got controlled, but the cull is happening based on the scattered points. You might lose some points still with this inside the camera. So that's why we have this left clip and the right clip. See, there is something culled once we enable the camera culling. So that's why we have clipping. We can extend or clip. So that's it.